Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Strife Pro League. I am whilke, your host. Joining me today is Hogan, newest member of Senpai Please Notice Me. Good afternoon, Hogan.
What's up, whilke?
Not much, just some Strife Pro League this afternoon.
Yeah, some pretty interesting, a pretty interesting match for a lot on the line, of course.
Absolutely. So this is the second place tiebreaker for the Challenger group. Winner of this takes second place, wins gems, gets invited to the Pro Group next series, gets invited to the tournament next weekend. So it's definitely a big match for both these teams. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, being able to get in the tournament and even just play a couple of the pro bracket teams is a good experience. And I'm sure these teams are going to vie with all they've got for that opportunity today. So it should be a really strong and fun to watch best of three between DERP and New Team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We actually have both these teams in the lobby. We have the draft lobby up. I'm going to switch over to it. I'm going to see if both these teams are ready and make sure we have the right players in here so we can make this happen. So DERP is going to have server advantage for the series here. New team is having to use a ring or two for the series, so we're giving server advantage over to DERP. They're a US West team anyway, so all the games are going to be played on US East. The server advantage in this case basically means they get first pick, first ban for Game 1 and Game 3. And I'm going to let them know they are free to sit down once they're both ready and start getting this draft ready to go. I'm kind of excited. I've been looking forward to this match all week.
Yep, I think I'm in the wrong draft room. There's two up, so I've been tricked.
Yeah, probably. And we'll see if you get into the right one. Curry Boy is seated down.
Okay, found it.
And you found the right one.
It took me a while, but yeah, this should be interesting. These two teams don't really have similar styles from what I've seen the last couple of games. DERP's a team that likes to emphasize Vex picks and kind of like a single tank comps with having how cut are you pizza on the carries with Dudley and Lane. And I think New Team just likes all-out aggression. They're kind of like similar in picking style to Papa Please sometimes. I haven't seen either of these teams really operate with the new heroes though, so I'm curious to see what they think of Nikolai and Jinshi.
Yeah, so we actually have the wrong drafter. They chose the wrong option. So give us a second here, guys. We're going to recreate the draft lobby and get this up and running for them. It'll only take a moment. We just noticed. And we'll be right back in this.
Third draft lobby.
Third draft's lobby's the charm.
Or fourth.
Yes. All right, there we go. All right, everyone's joining up. We'll get these guys seated and ready. Okay, letting them know. We're all good. Yeah, so I hope both these teams have been at least practicing a little bit. They've actually haven't played each other in the Challenger Series at all. So both of these teams have kind of come up through the Challenger Series all season and been playing other teams and ended up tying in points and in record. So they have never actually faced off against each other, which is kind of interesting. A lot of times in the Challenger Series, at least if there's going to be a tie, the teams have already at least played each other once. But in this case, it did not happen. And we already see that the draft has started and we have a ban out. And the first ban is a Bastion. So what do you think about first banning Bastion now with, especially with like Nikolai in the draft pool and I guess Jinshi to a lesser extent as well. What do you think about banning like tanks now?
It's still going to be like the more common strategy because obviously there's a gap in the potential of what certain tanks, particular tanks can do for you. Bastion is probably the top tank right now. He's so tough to deal with. He lanes very well. He has AoE damage, and he can protect his allies. So he has a lot of really positive features that make him a high target for bans, and he'll probably stay in top 2 bans for a long time, especially in matches with known Bastion players. We do see some of the first picks coming out. Claudessa first pick is no surprise by DERP. They like to play that hero a lot. Taisuga isn't in their lineup today, but I think Lalande can play Claudessa very well as well. And the response from new team is Nikolai and Harrower. So they're going for the mustache beard combo right now. Wow, that's a lot of manliness.
I think that's as manly as it gets. If they also pick up a Featherstone to go with it, that's the trifecta. That's the beard fecta, I believe. That's what they would call that.
Technically, I would qualify Ray because he's just hairy all over. I think he would fit into that team comp. But Ray gets stolen, and Vermilion gets picked up as well from DERP. So I mentioned it before. How could you? I'm just going to keep saying his name differently throughout the game because he's always had it differently. He likes to play Verm. That's like one of his most comfortable heroes. He plays it well. So getting it here is great for DERP. They've already established really good laning heroes in their picks and having Claudessa and Ray. So getting that early carry that he's more comfortable with is a nice pick. And I expect to see new team pick up Feder with one of these 2 picks. And that's going to make the bottom lane very awkward in terms of what we were familiar with recently, because bot laners are Harrower, Rook, and Feder. If new team picks up Featherstone here, there's none of those 3, so they'll have to default to a different bot laner, which will be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the bot lane trifecta right now, right? Featherstone, Rook, and Harrower, and, you know, they each kind of beat each other in different rounds. They actually pick up Hale and Featherstone here. That's very interesting. That's an interesting pickup. I wonder what they're going to respond with. So who do you think can lane? It's got to be Harrower in the bot lane. Do you think Shank can actually stand up against Harrower in the bot lane? I think he can, but then the problem is, what does Harrower bring to the team fight mid and late game if he's the bot lane hero?
Yeah, I think you reversed that and you meant Shank. But
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, he can definitely get some CS and be okay, but he's not going to do enough. And the natural build order of a Harrower is to get a Crushing Mace anyway, so you're already building efficiently against an opponent like Shank. So it really does hurt your mid game and end game. Shank obviously lacks a lot in terms of damage output, so his presence won't be felt in the middle of the team fights. They're probably better suited to go for one of the heroes we haven't seen down there as often, and like a Carter or something, just so they have extra damage. They can also work a 2v1 if they really wanted to, but they're going to pick Minerva. This is a hero we've seen a little bit more recently because she can do okay in the Harrower matchup. Teams haven't been 2v1ing her as much for whatever reason, but I'm curious to see how Hooligan manages on this Minerva against... I'm not sure who plays bottom lane for new team. They switch everything up so often, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah,
the Harrower.
Apologies, everybody out there. Forgot we didn't have the draft up when we swapped it around. It's up now, so you at least can see what the draft is going to be ending before we jump into this game. So the draft is finished. We're just going to make sure both of these teams are ready to go, and we'll jump into this. Yeah, so Minerva, and then obviously they pick up... They pick up that Carter in the, as their last pick. What do you think of that Minerva? It's going to be a Minerva versus a Harrower.
It's an okay lane. Minerva doesn't really farm well, and Harrower doesn't farm particularly well either. So they'll both probably stay in the low 300s for the first couple of levels, and then it will come down to who can gank better, but those are 2 hard heroes to gank. The upside to Minerva is that there are a lot of immobile heroes in the lineup of new teams, so when you get to later stages of the game, she can do what Harrower does for the other team and just get to the back line and be annoying. Carter and Featherstone have a real tough time dealing with a Minerva because they don't have that innate mobility in their kits. Meanwhile, if you look at DERP's team, they do have some ability. Vermilion can get out of the fight a little bit better. There also are double heals, so Harrower might have less success penetrating individually into the backline. Of course, then you factor in the other heroes that new team has, and they have an interesting team fight set up because of that Hale and that Nikolai. So I don't know. This game can go either way. The lanes look a little bit better, in my opinion, aside from the solo for DERP. Like, they have traditional lanes. A new team have less conventional lanes, and they're going to have to really impress with these.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Tinder Verm is a very, very strong lane. Who's it going to be up against? It's going to be Featherstone and who? Nikolai? Featherstone Nikolai, and then a Hale Carter lane, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, those are the most likely. Hell Carter is good because it's just difficult to kill either of those heroes. Carter can stand so far back, and Hell is a pain in the butt. So, those duo I've personally run together in the past, and teams are probably inclined to try out if they want to fit in the extra damage into a item in the form of Carter.
Sure, and 40 seconds here, we're going to know for sure. So if it is that, obviously it's going to be a Claudessa Ray lane, right? Claudessa Ray, mid lane, probably against a Hale Carter lane. How does that go in the mid lane? Do you think, does the Claudessa Ray have the advantage there? I'm assuming they do.
So the one thing to watch out for against DERP is they look for particular matchups and they will lane swap you constantly. Like they're not afraid of putting the carry in the middle lane. They do it with Verm and Feder very often. I'm not sure what their take is on these matchups, but I think Verm and Tinder are better suited to be up against Nikolai and Featherstone because Nikolai will have a more difficult time actually securing a kill against them, whereas if Nikolai's up against a Ray in the top lane, he could probably pop him before Claudessa can do too much. So I think they should go with the normal lane setups. Also, Hell's face on this loading screen is very scary, but we'll see what they do because they are known for swapping it around very often.
You make an excellent point there about DERP. They do swap their kill and their farm lane around often. So we're loading in the game now. We're going to find out very shortly what they do, and that's going to kind of set the tone, I think, here. So once we know where they're going, we can talk about who has early advantage, who has mid-game advantage, things like that. I'm loaded in, though, and here we go. Let's make sure everything is set up properly here. Let me... Got to do this on stream for a second, guys. Sorry, it is my bad for not setting this up ahead of time, but it's for your own protection. You don't want to get sick as I'm scrolling around way too fast for everyone. All right, there we go. That should be better. All right, so here we go. Team DERP. I don't see any very out of the ordinary pet pickups here on DERP. Item pickups coming out. Minerva going for that Vitality Stone early on. I'm assuming that's going to go right into a Golden Protector up against this Harrower. Is my guessing correct? Do you think that's what it's going to be as well?
It's possible. It could be many different things, though. We've seen a lot of people craft that into their Mystic Dagger Rush as well. So it's really tough to pinpoint it without seeing a secondary item. But it's not a horrible idea. It also isn't... Oh, well, they are going to put Harrow bottom, so... There's an outside chance that they decide to lane the Hail against the Minerva because it's a decent matchup, but they didn't go with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we'll see. Baby Bounder coming out on pile 420. I love seeing that Baby Bounder. What's the proper pet on Nikolai? That's I've never really thought about what's the best pet to go on Nikolai. Is Bounder the pet of choice with like Rocket Boots, or should you be getting Pincer on Nikolai?
Bounder is the best pet on Nikolai right now, and you don't go Rocket Boots. You can go Power Boots, you can go Inertia Boots. I've even experimented with Fervor Boots, but you definitely don't go Rocket Boots. Bounder is plenty. The passive movement speed creates for great opportunities. We'll see how aggressive this Nikolai wants to go. I've seen Nikolai's builds stuff like Reaper Scythe as well as Mystic Dagger in the past. He does a lot of damage, and in a team that has three pretty tanky heroes between Harrower, Hell, and Nikolai, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them went for really damage-oriented build.
Sure. No, absolutely. In the bot lane here, though, we had the entire team coming down, placing these mines, basically protecting these mines for a few seconds before laning happens. So this is definitely going to help Minerva out with these mines. They're going to give him an early XP lead and an early gold lead. We'll see if Minerva can kind of hold on to it. So they don't actually put their farm lane mid. They have their kill lane mid with that Claudessa Ray against this Hale Carter.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good lane for DERP. They need to be aggressive once they get like level 2, level 3. Ray can deal out a lot of harass damage, but they need to be careful because Hale does do a surprising amount of damage in lane, so he could turn things around on you in an instant if you misplay or overextend. So
Yep,
that's something to take into consideration. And also, Lincoln's is likely going for a Mystic Dagger Rush, as was made popular by Marley in competitive matches. I don't know, I always give him credit for it. I don't know if someone else actually started it and maybe he's just taking credit for it, but he's the first person I saw to do it in a comp match, so I'm going to attribute it to him every time I see it.
Right, well, the W change to Hail, right, can proc Mystic Dagger now. It's kind of huge. And, and he's made it work so well, yeah.
I mean, I still think Hail needs like 4 more buffs maybe in the next couple patches just to make sure he's fair, but no. Sarcasm aside, he definitely is very strong right now, especially with that Lord ult cooldown.
Curry Boy, by the way, doing a really, really good job with those rockets harassing out Ray. Basically keeping him out of the harass range on this Hail at the moment.
Yeah, Ray's playing very passively. He pre-mined for damage, and here comes... Ooh, Hail comes in for a little bit of damage as well. Dudley's going to take a bit here, too. And there's a lot of control for New Team on this lane, and it's surprising because Stride should be getting mines off that are hitting either of the targets. I mean, Hail's not an innately tanky hero, so you can even throw the mines on him, and those are like 100% mines for a Ray player. Like, those are going to hit every single time unless he hews away or something.
No, I absolutely agree. They're definitely losing this lane right now. They're very, very passive in it. Curry Boy is extremely aggressive, doing a really good job of basically zoning them out of the way at the moment. So we'll see if they're able to kind of correct their problems. He's basically eaten like every rocket that Curry Boy has thrown at him so far.
Yeah, they're definitely the #1 lane in terms of struggling right now for DERP, which is surprising because that's probably the most favorable matchup. Top lane, DERP seems to be doing pretty well. They've got a slight lead, and it's difficult for Nikolai to be aggressive against this lineup because, first off, it's double range, and second off, they have so much heals and counter-engage in the forms of slows and stuns that if he commits, he can easily go down because all he has to get out right now is Bounder.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're just trying to get harass in, and that's kind of what they're doing, right? Pile 420 going in on Vern there, getting some harass, and they're out. But the problem is, they have that Tinder there. Tinder, mana regen, lots of heals. We'll see how effective that harass is in the future.
And if you take a look at the bottom lane now, you can see the struggle that is Minerva. Eventually, you just get outpushed by anybody. Like, any hero in the game will find a way to push you, and Minerva's not doing a bad job. He's at 380 GPM. He's actually beating the Harrow right now.
Yep.
But it's almost impossible to get lane advantage like from this point forward. Like, it's always going to be under your tower, and you have to be very strong with your last inning here to not just lose money unnecessarily. As you can see, like, he's going to drop some of his last hits just because of unfortunate tower procs. In fact, he's going to miss like all 3 of these.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money that just disappears because of the fact that Minerva has no AoE.
Yeah, that's the one problem with Minerva in that 1v1. It's once you're under tower, it's very, very hard to farm, and that's what you want to do against a Minerva, right? You want to get them under tower and try and basically control the lane at that point.
Yeah, and you know, in the case of Harrow, Minerva can't kill him, so he can feel very comfortable pushing up that far. He will try and trade damage. It looks like he's going to go in on Lowen here, but Lowen, once again, is just unkillable for Minerva at this point. You can see Minerva uses all of the abilities, runs out of mana, and Lowen can just walk away.
Yeah, and not even scared, right? Just staying right here. He knows Minerva can't do anything more in the engagement, so he's not going anywhere.
Ooh, middle. Nice Dragon Reach. Lincoln's taking a lot of damage.
No, so that's good. That's what they want. But Dudley, got to be careful. Gets a heal off on himself. You know, so this is the counter initiation that I guess they kind of needed just to try and get themselves back in this lane. That Curry Boy basically
is.
There's what
Dagger's coming out right now.
Yes.
To Lincoln's, or once his courier comes out. I don't know why he hasn't sent it. Maybe he's waiting for potion money too.
Yeah, very possible. But yeah, still Curry Boy basically says has no fear in harassing this lane. He knows he's basically in control of the lane right now, so they just don't care. Stride, though, on Ray, basically rushing that Archmage ring. So that's going to help them a little bit in this lane.
That's necessary. Well, that's part of the reason they're falling behind is because he lacks mobility and stuff like that. But it's also because he has a Bounder. I don't like Bounder on Ray that much. A couple people do it. If he had a Mystic, he's probably trading better with this Carter and doesn't have to buy the Archmage ring or whatever it may be called.
Yeah, I think the ring helps him and
questionable.
Dudley, though, right? Helps both of them.
Sure, but getting that sets them so far behind in lane.
Yeah.
It's an expensive item. It's good in some circumstances, but
Hold on. Pile driver coming out here onto Leyland. They're going to have to back off. Tinder's going to be okay. Got that plan out. However, Featherstone taking a lot of damage. He might go down. One more out attack's all they need. They actually might get a double kill here on the pile driver. No. Pile 420 is just going to bound her way. But in the mid lane, they actually get a kill on the Curry Boy. That was huge. They've been basically struggling in this lane all game, and all of a sudden they're able to get a gank out onto that Carter. And they're all of a sudden right back in this game. And Hooligan on to Harrower here in the top lane. He's doing a really good job. He's actually beating this Harrower, surprisingly. So that's really good. But here we go. We have Curry Boy on Carter already roaming. He died once, so might as well come to the bottom lane, see if they can do anything against this Minerva. Oh, I think they're going to 2v1 this Minerva now.
yeah, she has a pincer. This is impossible, pretty much.
Yeah,
Unless
actually,
Minerva
he's going to try and
misplays.
turn it onto Harrower here. Harrower's in a lot of trouble. 2 more auto attacks is all that's needed. Hooligan, can he do it? Can he get close enough? He's going to take some rockets here. He's going to get slowed. He's actually going to try and turn it. He gets the shield off, and he's just running for his life now. He's under tower. He's got to be able to dodge some rockets. Curry Boy taking some damage from the tower, and he actually lives from that. Oh, that's really good. So I think they're going to actually 2v1 this Minerva now. But it's a little too late. Minerva already is level 8. Already has a golden protector and boots. You know, was farming 400 GPM. All right, so it doesn't look like they're gonna commit to that 2v1. They're gonna move back into the mid lane.
Yeah, so if you look at that series of events, it started off with Curry Boy. I didn't see the death, but it had to be because of mispositioning, because he died under tower on the enemy's tier 1. So likely hit by a Dragon Reach into a stun, and dies there after having full lane advantage. Then he goes bottom and fells a gank, gives mid plenty of time to push the lane, take the tower down to half health. So they lost almost all their advantage they had gained in the middle lane in that sequence of maybe 2 minutes there. So they really are going to need some positive movement, maybe from the top lane, maybe free up Nikolai now to try and create stuff across the map, just so they don't throw away the positives they did have early. Meanwhile, bottom lane, solo kill, Hooligan on tower.
Barely getting it. They were
barely's
trading
enough.
so hard. Yeah, but Hooligan does
Howard
get the kill.
doesn't have a damage item, and he's attacking into a golden protector. Why is he taking that fight?
That's a good question. He does. Yeah, that's not a fight you're gonna win against. Oh, nice death ray coming out by Ray there, and now he's just zoning out for Curry for Dudley there on Claudessa, and that's gonna be the end of that fight. So this mid lane definitely recovering from that early game kind of setback they have, getting kind of pushed out of lane a bit, and now they're starting to get some kills.
Yeah, I mean, we know how strong the lane can be. You give them one too many opportunities, and they're gonna make you pay for it. That's exactly what's happening right here. So DERP seems to be in like strong control of this game. I mean, you could see how the GPM are stacking up against each other now. There's like at least a 50 to 70 difference on most of the heroes right now.
It's
the most impressive of which is the
lead.
bottom lane. It's a 150 GPM lead on the bottom lane of Minerva over Hauer, and like I said, it's an impossible gank for Carter. Mid lane Carter's going to drop here too.
Yeah, sorry, we're about to miss that. Carter does go down, and actually might turn this on to Hale as well, or I don't think so. I think Dudley's just going to kind of walk away for this after getting a couple hits in, unless... no, nothing to do there. Dudley walks away, so they kind of trade kills. I think that's actually in the favor of new team there, because they're going to get more gold out of that kill, out of that trade.
Yeah, it's probably slightly in their favor. It's odd that Ray dies with Founder and Rocket Boots. I don't know what happened exactly. Maybe he used them to engage and I missed it. But with that many safety items, probably want to live through post fights like that. Unless Carter hit a miracle rocket and I didn't see it.
And here we go, another fight.
Tower's going to go down soon.
In the bot lane, though, DERP and Hera are kind of going at it, and it's yeah, Hera just can't fight this Minerva at the moment. I mean, he did go for that dampening cloak, which does help kind of counter Minerva a bit, but I don't know. I think Minerva still has the advantage there. But yeah, in the top lane, they're going for a 3-man gank onto Vermilion here. The plant goes down, but Verm is still going to die, and they're also going to get the plant gold here as well. Oh, Pile 420 trying to go in for an ult there. Not going to be enough. There goes a nice Death Ray. Going to get a stun now. Featherstone is going to get hooked back with that bindweed, and he's going to fall. So in the end, it was a 2-for-1. Nice play by DERP there. Nice roam by Ray. Just perfect timing.
Yeah, the initial roam by Lincoln was really smart. They saw the tower was going to go down. They brought up the Hail to get a gank off. But the response from Stride on that Ray was very strong. The counter gank is always going to end up yielding a couple of kills if it's executed properly, and it did just that. So props to him. And DERP are looking scary. I mean, the mid tower is already at half health. The bot tower's gone, top tower's gone, so there's a lot of global gold. Now Dudley in mid lane is taking a little bit of damage. TP in from Pile, and they're going to get their first tower of the game on the side of the new team. So they're responding pretty well. That's an easy tower. It's uncontested. They're going to lose Baldir for it, but they just need money. So if they have to trade at this point, it's not the end of the world.
Not just money, but also getting some of that map control back, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of map control. The problem is that DERP look like they're going to just 4 or 5 man this mid tower now.
Oh!
It's just going to be evened out. Ouch.
Verm, poor Verm almost getting disintegrated there. But they're trying to collapse on this mid tower, absolutely. But at the same time, they are giving this Harrower kind of free farm in the bottom lane. You don't want to let Harrower kind of recover in any game.
I don't know how, but Carter got killed by Ray there. I don't know if I don't think he sniped. He has ult still.
He has his ult.
He died
so
under his tier 1 tower somehow.
I don't know. This could be bad. Nice static field by Ray there. And they're going to have to back off. Verm taking a lot of damage. Looks like the end of the fight, but they still want this tower. 3 seconds. Nature's Fury is up. I don't know if they're going to try and push it and use it on this mid tower or not. Carter is back up, hiding in the bush here. They're going to go right for Ray. Ray's going to eat a couple of rockets, and they're going to be fine. That double heal's so strong.
Yeah, it really is. And it's worth noting right now that Verm has decided to go for a first item Frost Prism. That's something we don't see very often from Vermilion players. In this game, it's actually going to be, like, I can't complain about it. It's actually going to be a pretty smart pick because you're against Nikolai.
Yep.
So having a double slow against Nikolai prevents him from closing the gaps onto you pretty often. So, you know, I can respect that pick here. Normally, I don't think it's the most optimal, especially going against a 2.5 tank comp. You're probably going to need some armor stride early on here, or some extra movement speed and damage in the form of Zealot's Blade. But I think it's actually okay in this circumstance. So, cool item choice.
Sure, yeah, and we almost not even first item. We almost never see Frost Prism picked up at all in competitive games. It's not a common pickup anymore.
Yeah, and it's because it just doesn't give a lot of damage, and when you're a Vermilion, you're usually fighting with other people, so that you can rely on them for disables and what have you, so that you can just pile it on your target. But Nikolai is going to try and single him out, so it could come in handy later. We'll see how he uses it. Right now, he's walking into a really awkward position. This could be trouble.
Oh, this is definitely trouble for this Verm.
Oh,
he might be in some issues. There might be a little bit of lag going on, but there it is. Here comes Leyland with the bindweed. They're actually going to turn this on to Nikolai. Nikolai actually tried to ult just to get away, but not enough, and Featherstone's going to fall as well. That's Frost Prism just doing some work right there. And at the same time, Hale's going to fall here possibly. Can he get away? He has an inertial sword. He's going to use it. No, but the bounder from Dudley going in for that last hit to get the kill. They're going to lose possibly 2 towers here as well. Plant goes down.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to lose top tower.
It looked like a little bit of lag from Nikolai there. It could have been tunnel vision too, but I'll attribute it to lag and give him the benefit of the doubt. Hooligan dives the bottom tier 2 and gets a kill on Harrower again. Hooligan's in full control of this bottom lane. This is an impressive game from him. Meanwhile, Nikolai does TP boots down there and tries to catch Hooligan, but
he can catch him.
Too hard to catch. Too hard to catch. Tower down.
Straight up movement war. He could catch him, but yeah, he's not going to get there. And this Minerva is going to start getting scary. He has that Mystic Dagger finished already. He has a Golden Protector. What's his power level at? He's sitting at 162 power. That's not good. You don't want a Minerva getting this kind of early game lead. That's the last thing you want to happen.
Yeah, especially when you have your Featherstone pretty far behind. It's 15 minutes. He just finished his Demon Fang, so he doesn't really have that much going for him. Carter only has a Shiv right now, so your back line is very susceptible, and Minerva is going to feast upon that when she gets the opportunity to.
Yeah, do you notice we have 3 dampening cloaks out for a new team?
We have 2. What are they called? Archmage rings?
Archmage rings, yes.
I don't know why we have 2. If that's a miscommunication or they really like mana.
Yeah, that's a lot of mana recovery. I mean, if they're gonna like 5-man push lanes, it's not the worst idea. It gives you so much control in the lane, right? You have so much mana to spam with 2 rings, but it could be a miscommunication. It's very possible, especially with these 2 heals, though. It's a lot.
I'm sure Deli built in mana regen into his build somewhere.
Yeah.
So he's not that mana intensive as a hero, and Verm doesn't use mana, but we do have a little back and forth poking going on here. The tier 2 tower in the middle lane is pretty low. TP coming in from Nikolai, forces 5 mid. Meanwhile, Minerva is farming bottom, so slight advantage on the map right now for DERP in terms of what they're getting out of their heroes. It looks like Lincoln's is going to look for some kind of hard engage here. He's going to go down Dudley.
Yeah, nope, I'm just going to back off from that. Yeah, they're just kind of poking back and forth right now. I don't see a big fight happening unless somebody seriously commits to this, and it doesn't look like either team wants to make that happen.
Yeah, it's important for Howard to finish up what seems to be his crushing maze, so I would give him any solo farm you can right now, but instead Hale goes top and takes the solo farm. It's probably more important for Hale to be on the bottom half of the map because of the threat of Sindara, and here's the Sindara rotation.
Oh,
Hale's
man.
not here, they're going to plant it, and this is almost free.
This is huge, huge. They don't actually spot it just yet. They are coming around to check. They're going to see it real soon, but it's just too late. This is already done.
Yeah, it's free, and that's just a bad rotation from Hal. He shouldn't be going to the top lane at this time in the game. You know they have a lot of map control, and they're looking for it. So, you know, if anyone goes up there, it should be the Nikolai with the travel boots or the Harrower, so at least he's getting the farm to be more instrumental in team fights moving forward. Whereas Hal's farm is cool, but it's not as important.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And we have Krydos going to be pushing top lane at the moment. Nikolai is rotating here at the top. We got Pizza on Verm. He's sitting in the bush. They're not going to spot him out. Is he going to sit here the whole time? Is that we have a rotation maybe come? No, they're going to get that chest. We'll see. Verm might be rotating mid here in a second. I'm pretty sure. But here we go.
Yeah, it's going to be
Krydos
an monkey
push.
death push probably. I don't see any gimmicks coming out of this. There's too many towers up for DERP for new team to do anything else other than just fight straight up. They should be setting up some angles. Like if Lincoln can come in from the back end, that would be tremendous for their team. So like he should be hiding out, tapping some wards. But instead, they're going to go more orthodox positioning and just take left push and get spotted out by Dudley here. It's all down to Lincoln's really on the engage and what Biba can do with ult action.
Oh, Leyland actually gets a nice bindweed on a Courier Boy, but there goes the pile driver coming back, but it's on Dudley. Hooligan in the background trying to make something happen, but he is going to fall. Nice death ray by Ray, and this fight is definitely won by Team DERP. They're going to get a generator here, I'm pretty sure. Courier Boy is still in the background trying to make something happen. But Verm is still alive. Oh, pile driver coming in. Gonna get some damage off, but he's gonna get stunned out by that static field, and he's gonna go down, and they're gonna keep pushing this, and they're just gonna finish off this generator.
Yeah, and to start that fight, Nikolai ulted the
Dudley. Claudessa,
That's
yeah.
like entirely worthless. And for a Nikolai player, you have to know that lots of your value is removing someone from the fight and then being able to reposition them. To do it on a Claudessa is entirely a waste. You need to get to that backline. That's the reason you have Bounder.
Yep.
So, you know, that's a little bit of a shame. I think he's been lagging this game, Pile 420, because of the instance we saw before where he walked into a hero for a half second.
Yep.
So that could be largely the problem. But still, Nikolai, if you're going to pick him, he needs to hit important targets. He's like a pseudo tank assassin.
By the way, I love Tinder here going that Spirit Ward into Diadem over here. So that's where her power is going to come from. She has plenty of utility. She has a Rune Scepter for some cooldown reduction. I love seeing Spirit Wards come out. It's such a cool item. Not enough people pick up Spirit Ward, I believe.
That's probably no. I would agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that Hexbane existed.
All right, well, yes, but Flex over there trying to take out. Oh, Curry Boy is gonna fall just from tower damage. It looks like, and they're gonna back out. They got a kill. Nobody died here.
He got hit by Rayalt too.
Oh, he did get hit by a huge Rayalt. They're gonna get this tower though, but it was a 1-for-1 trade. And Derp Hooligan over here in the top lane, they are able to take out Tail with Lincolns. So that was a nice
Derp likes Hexbanes. Look at these items. I just started to scroll through. I don't think they like Hexbane.
They don't, and I gotta give it to them. Like the only team who doesn't rush Hexbanes, it would seem, which is interesting because Hexbane's such a powerful item in Strife right now.
Maybe it's just because they feel like they have a lot of control right now that they don't need it, but it is odd because against Harrower and Fetter is like an amazing item, of course, even against Hale's Initiation. But
yep.
If you look at Ray's items, he went like defensive. He's picking up 2 extra health stones, crystals, shards, whatever they may be, and he already has a golden protector, so he's like super defensive build.
Yes.
Which is kind of annoying in this game because like new team's already having trouble killing anybody. So when you get on the Ray and realize this guy actually is kind of tanky,
and then you have 2 heals coming out.
You
have 2 heals from Claudessa and Tinder to maybe back up that Ray. This Ray can actually initiate and you know, like live through it, basically. And he's complete utility. Yeah. So maybe another big fight popping here. They're going for this tower. Yeah.
They're deemed this tier 2 really hard. If there wasn't engaged, this is a great position to fight for Derp, since they won't be fighting under the gen. It'd be really good positioning. Lincoln gets hits here, he backs up a little bit. They're gonna try and there's a double jump!
Oh, nice! And he actually gets the death ray off. That's definitely gonna kill Featherstone. And here comes the pile driver on pile 420, but he is gonna fall immediately after. And I think again he uses pile driver on to Claudessa again. And they're going to go right for another generator, and they should be able to take this. I don't know if they can stop them at this point. The plant's down. They have Ray up. Everyone is still up here. This is going to fall very, very fast. Verm, oh, nice! Use of the Verm ult there. Oh, Lincolns hits nobody with his ult. And they're going to just keep on this generator. They're going to get it down. We have Minerva in the background trying to go on somebody. He's going to back off now. Not going to get a kill. But that's fine. He did what he needed to do, and that's 2 generators down. Let's take a look at the gold graph now. It's gonna be crazy. It's a over 30,000 gold lead in Team Derp's favor right now. Huge, huge, huge gold lead.
Yeah, this one's all but officially over. Derp has played very well. I've been impressed, and new team just hasn't had a response coming out of lanes. They were a little bit flat in lanes, aside from the mid lane early on, but that failed rotation and that early death from Curryboy threw off even the mid lane success, and Derp haven't relinquished anything since that point. So props to them for playing a solid game, and we'll see. And this is probably a last ditch all in from new team coming up soon. I'm all for it because you have nothing else to do.
Do you see Ray's item? What Ray finished?
Giant Visage.
What the heck is going on there? Oh, they're actually going to go in onto Harrower. Harrower goes down. That was actually really nicely played by Ray. He rocket boots in, gets the Curse Wand off, lets him get off the static field, and man, they actually get 2 kills there. Nikolai off on the side. Yeah, Derp is huge, huge control of this game right now. It's basically they have to really throw hard to lose this game. They're going to go right for the crux, it looks like.
Yeah, and Nikolai actually hit an ultimate on Vermilion there, so give him props, but it got pincer broken. So that kind of stinks for Nikolai.
Oh, there they go. Plants down.
He did the right thing.
Hale taking a lot of damage here. He's actually not going to fall. No, he is not going to fall. He's sweeping strikes. He's going to get out of there. The ult activated by Featherstone here. Just not enough. Derp just taking game 1. Definitely a good game played by Derp there. They were in control the entire game, man. I mean, from the Minerva on the bottom lane, winning against Harrower, that was very nicely done.